And Mary's in the house already. That is amazing.
How are you going?
Oh, better for seeing you. That's fantastic. And I wonder who
Info is.
how's info? Do we say Mr. Com, Ms. Com, Dr. Com? Hi,
Good morning.
good morning, Infocom. We don't get a response from Infocom. That's slightly disturbing, isn't it, Mary?
Oh, it'll be just scrambling to find that little thing to pop up and start your video.
Oh, that's okay. So you're much calmer with the universe than I am. So Mary, how are you going? You are just having incredible week after week after week of work. How's everything going for you?
It's going fantastic. The writing's going good. And I am finishing an article that I'm pretty sure will be published. So I'll work on that this weekend.
No,
So I'll have my first article published.
oh, see, that's just fantastic. And Mary, I was going to ask you, where are you? And this is just a meta point for me. And when wonderful Elaine comes on, we'll talk about that too. But where are you publishing this fine work? Oh, we got a friend behind you. I'll wave whoever you're.
This is my husband with my breakfast.
What's your husband's name, Mary?
Sam.
G'day, Sam. Oh, Sam can't hear me because you've got the high.
Yeah, she's saying hello.
Hi, Sam. You go, Sam. I need to find myself a partner that delivers breakfast too. That's never happened to me. That is fantastic. But Mary, that's right. So Mary, where are you publishing this powerful political work?
Well, it's in Aboriginal History Journal, and it's based on my honours thesis, which is the story of Vass, who was looked after by the Wadandi people in 1801. He was left behind by the Border expedition.
Oh, see, that is a great journal.
So it's just an oral history. Well, not just an oral history. It's an oral history that changes the historiography of that small story on the Border expedition.
Oh, look, Mary, that is absolutely amazing. And as I said, I love that journal. And I saw in the email exchange you and I had the wonderful Professor Leonard Collard.
Yes. Oh, yes, he says hello. I saw him on the weekend.
Yeah,
he says hello to you.
Len is an inspirational human being in my life. We worked together for 10 years, Mary. I don't know if he told you this. He might be burying that emotion, but he taught me a lot. Yep. He's a legendary human being, great bloke. And I'm so glad his career just kicked on and on and on and on. And he's even more legendary than when I knew him. And he was legendary when I knew him.
That's right.
So fantastic. But Mary, give him my love if you can.
I will.
Fantastic. So look, we've sort of started already, but we should just go, hello, everybody, and welcome to, I'm going to do the thing. Wow, digital office hours. I might need that breath at the end of my life. At 65, I might need that breath, Kate. I might need that breath. But thank you, colleagues, for joining me once more. And look, lots of excitement going on today. The Queen Susan is in the house. I love Susan. She is my sister from another mister. We can't see her because she's a woman of mystery. And Kate, I know you're... Look at the glamour. Look at that colour. Are you exercising while doing this, Susan?
Yes, I am. I'm walking on the road in Jamaica.
Well, can I say, so we are so international, we know that, but we were always going to make it to Jamaica. Susan is basically the ambassador, the PhD ambassador of Jamaica for the world, and shares her research. So Susan, you keep walking in your fitness inspires me every day, Susan. And can I say, you're walking. Kate is wearing fur, it appears. It might be feathers. Good morning, Kate. Sound, darling one. I'm just excited. Sound. Mute, you bugger. Mute. I can't hear you.
I can't hear you, Kate.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can.
It's Chinese rabbit.
I'm going to get me some Chinese rabbit. Dare I ask, should I ask this question, Kate? Where did you get the Chinese rabbit?
Cronulla Mall.
Obviously, Cronulla Mall, yes, obviously. I was just wondering if, like, do the Chinese rabbits know that you've got, like, one of their brothers and sisters, or?
I hope not.
Yes, so do I. Anyway, so I'm going to look up Chinese rabbit after this to see if there's a substantive difference between Chinese rabbit and Cronulla rabbit more generally, Kate. Fantastic. So, colleagues, I'm so thrilled to see you. Adrian's back. Adrian, you've been like in my head for the last week. You've had this huge impact on me. How are you going, Adrian?
Yeah, no, well, thanks. Yourself?
Oh, fantastic. Better for seeing you. Susan's joining us from Jamaica. Just to add extra pressure to us all, Adrian, she's exercising with us this morning. So when we're all sitting here sort of like just with random things, she's moving us forward. It's such an inspiration. So we've got Edwin in. Edwin and I have already been in conversation this morning. We've got wonderful Yvette in. And look, I once more will return to Mrs. Professor Infocom. Would Infocom like to say hello to us at all? I'm so excited. Unless I'm
Hello.
So who is Infocom, if you'd like to give us your name?
Yeah, of course. I'm Vanessa, by the way.
Hello, Vanessa. That's
How are you?
Oh, that's brilliant, because I just suddenly thought the FBI had finally caught up with me and
No.
Infocom was infiltrating the world.
At all. I'm just not comfortable with camera and sharing all of my name, etc. But I'm working on it.
Darling, don't even be concerned. This is all about comfort. If we're of use to you, it's terrific, but it's lovely to call you by your name, Vanessa, too. So you remain a woman of history, but we're terribly excited to have you with us. So
Elaine is here.
Yes, and you express yourself to your level of comfort. Yvette, darling, did you say something there, sweetness? Go for it, darling.
No, sorry, I was just laughing.
Did I do something stupid again? Oh, I'm sorry, Yvette. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's great. Great to meet everyone.
It's fantastic to see you, superstar. And look at that wall. I'm slightly obsessed by your wall, Yvette. Is it one of those things where the posh painters have done the posh effect on the wall?
No. It's all me. They're different colours, actually. It's lime wash.
Say that word for me again.
Lime wash.
Lime wash.
Yeah, because it used to be like orange peel paint, and it started peeling itself off. It had enough of itself. So yeah, I've changed the decor.
Well, again, it looks like you've joined us from a lifestyle program as well. So well done, Yvette. I'm thrilled that you're here. Edwin's here. Wendy's here. Hello, Wendy.
Hi, Tara. How are you?
Oh, better for seeing you. That is the best shirt I think I've ever seen in the world.
Thank you.
Oh, it's just lovely to see you. And you're going, well, what have you been doing today so far, my darling? Wendy, hello?
Hi, you there?
I'm there. I'm so here.
Oh, excellent. No, I'm buried in trying to analyse some interviews and make sense of them. So it's just a bit of a challenge at the moment, but we'll get there.
Now, Wendy, I'm excited by that. Obviously, Queen Elaine's here and she's given me a request for this week. But Wendy, how are you? Because obviously you've got all these interviews. Now, how are you shaping the content? What are you doing when you're doing content analysis? How are you handling it?
So it's just a straight up in vivo analysis. So yeah, and doing it manually as well, not using computerized anything because my supervisor's not so keen. But and it's just a bit of a slog making sense of it at the moment.
Look, that's absolutely right. And good on you for doing it manually as much as just plugging it into the software and hoping for the best. I had a truly wonderful student who had, anyone remember how many did Alyssa have? Was it something like 250,000 responses to her survey? And she could have put it, because her supervisor said, please close this down sooner, please close this down sooner. And she ignored me because I'm a random. And she left it open and then ended up with the biggest data set in the history of the world. And she did it manually. But can I say, Wendy, she ended up with a AA because of the caliber of the work that she'd done. Fantastic. You're the best in the universe. So now, Elaine, say hello, Elaine, and Eunice is in as well. Say hello, Elaine. And what's the elephant in the room? I haven't kept up with the comment yet. So Elaine, has Elaine gone?
No, I'm here.
Hello,
superstar. Here I am with the most boring accent. I don't talk like Tara Brabazon. I love saying your name like you do.
Do I really say it like that? And the thing is, I'm just like I
love it. I love it.
My father was a carpenter, but as he says, Jesus was a carpenter, right? So I don't come from the posh people, Elaine. You know that.
No, I love how you say your name, and it's great to be on a call with people who have accents, all these different accents. It's groovy. It's cool.
It's brilliant. And we all just still want to be Susan. We're all walking with Susan and feeling the guilt for the chocolate cake that we're going to have in the next few hours, even though we haven't done the so Elaine, tell us, darling, what is the elephant in the room or something? Tell us.
Well, and it's something that you're attentive to, and that's not discussed for most of us, particularly owls. In graduate school, is what the hell's going to happen afterwards. So I am a 58-year-old woman with a PhD in a gigified economy.
Yeah.
Where I'm getting a 6-month contract and now a year contract, shitty pay. I'm now having to take my PhD off my resume. I'm having to take off years of experience off my resume in dealing with ageism. So what has been disappointing to me, because at my university, I really worked hard for the 4 years to try to get the Faculty of Graduate Studies to let's start doing supports for what happens after from day one.
Spot on.
And so as a 58-year-old woman, I can't plan for the future. I can't get a mortgage. I live in a colonized nation that doesn't respect matriarchs. And so these conversations never happened because there weren't people in academia who ever had to worry about these things, because, as you know, grow up in the system. So that's the elephant I'm talking about.
Yes.
That never gets discussed, but its bum is firmly planted.
Yes. And look, I discuss it all the time, Elaine. You and I have discussed this for years. We've had fights over it, all sorts of things. And that's really important. And colleagues, I can see Kate and Eunice involved in this. Wonderful Arena's with us again this week. And Wendy is nodding like this. So we'll go to the Wendy nod in a second. So what I'd say to you, Elaine, is firstly, the data set shows, and this is the Australian data set, I'll look at the Canadian data set through the week, mate. But the data set shows that I think it's 89% of PhD graduates are in full-time work within a 6-month period, right? But the thing is, what is that full-time work and what happens to the other 11%? The first thing we have to remember is that our PhD programs have people like Eunice and Kate in them. So they come into our PhDs already in full-time work. And that's a huge group. So the first thing is that stat masks and massages a huge group of our students in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s who are already in work and are doing this to enable the next stage of their career or to benefit citizenship, right? But what we need to focus on in our doctoral program is the language I've used in the past is through care. And I think I did a vlog in one of these damn series called Through Care, where we start asking students right at the start, before they come into the program, and a big hi to Doug if he's somewhere on this call or watching it later, we say, what do you want? What do you want? And I agree with you, Elaine. People have a right to have some semblance of income security, food security, energy security, health security. Now, the challenge we've got is our universities now are so incredibly volatile. And this is the conversation we had years ago, Elaine, that your own super...
Can I have 30 seconds?
Oh, Lauren, go, Lauren.
Oh, sorry. No, I was asking my daughter to heat up my cup of tea for me, so I'm sorry I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
Lauren, what's her name? What's your daughter's name?
Maria,
do one for me while you're at it too.
Tara wants one too.
Yeah, mate. Long black will be great. Thank you. So good on you, Lauren. So Elaine, the challenge we've got is we need to ask our students what they want at the start, okay? And we need to manage those expectations. So the tenured job, I would argue, is gone for everybody, Elaine. It's gone. So when we are talking with our students, we must say, don't think that people have this nostalgic version of what higher education was like 30 years ago. It wasn't like that 30 years ago. I was there. It was dreadful. So the thing is, don't create a nostalgia on it. Don't say it's going to be stable. Most of my mates are doing 3 different jobs, okay? They're living away from their family 3 and 4 nights a week. This is reality. So it's speaking of that. It's saying the work is important, the research is important, but Elaine, what I'm working on at the moment is making sure we've got multiple income streams for people. This is my focus, right? So in other words, yes, you may get the contract job, the 1 year, the 2 year, the 3 year job. You may get that. Most
shit pay. Sorry,
go, Elaine. What was that, darling?
It's really crappy in Canada. It's like horrible pay.
Oh, I know it is, but what we've got to do, and this is not only the gig economy, but it's the portfolio career. I'm trying to also teach our students to be running almost an SME for themselves. So in other words, they're running a small business for themselves by creating a series of income streams. And Elaine, if you've seen that, that's why I've been experimenting on myself with audiobooks. So doing audiobooks and looking at that income stream, video, looking at that income stream, podcasting, looking at that income stream. And none of this is a lot of dough, but together they make a living and students have control over at least a part of their lives. And the final answer I give you before I go back to Elaine is what you've captured there, I think, is the great challenge of international higher education, okay? Seriously, because our universities, and I saw this in Aotearoa, New Zealand as well, our universities are split between two different groups now, the groups that for 10, 20, 30 years have had tenure and remain at the university and have got no idea of the chaos in which the rest of us are living, okay? So they haven't even at an experiential level even know the chaos that we're all going through, right? So that's that group, and they're not helping anybody. They're still supervising, but they're not being real with our students. And then there's the group, of which I suppose I'm one, my beloved late husband, Jamie, is, where we're moving around the world just trying to claw out a living, right? And it is tough, and we're living in, you know, one room, leaky places where other people are all around it, in terrible environments, right? And writing books and writing articles on a wonky chair and wonky table, hoping for the best, right? So part of what I've got to do, Elaine, is be honest with our students and say, I'm going to teach you how to build a living rather than make a living, and do that right from the start, and make sure the students have the consciousness of what this life looks like without the nostalgia of the past. So Elaine, I'll turn to you and then go straight to Queen Sophia, who's a legend.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much. Sorry, Tara. Sorry.
Anything, Tara, it's fine. But Elaine, darling, what we'll need to do, and we're going to talk about dissemination, because that was the other request you gave me too. And the dissemination protocol I want for you with open access is crucial. But then I also want you to think about dissemination where you get an income stream. Okay, rock and roll. We'll talk in a second. Sophia is straight in, our queen of last week. Talk to us, Sophia, you legend.
Oh, okay. I feel bad now because, you know, you've built it up and I'm actually just going to be kind of negative. But so I submitted my PhD in November and I had a bit of casual work through to the end of semester in December. Yep. But I've had no income since then. Yes. And what kind of really hit me is how much money it costs to keep your foot in. So going to conferences, the registration fees, travel, etc., maintaining a professional wardrobe, trying to get, I mean, I still have access to databases. I guess I'll get cut off from that in a few months, but it's so expensive to try and just keep in that world without any kind of, so it wasn't a question, it was more of a whinge, sorry, but
no, you're allowed a whinge, and I can provide some good answers to that. The first thing is, and look, I'm terrible on this, and I'm terrible, Muriel. I'm a terrible person, for which I apologize in advance, but all these people that go conferences and networking and go there and me, Sophia, I've never done that. I have gone my own way. I've never been interested in the networking, going to this conference, speaking for 20 minutes. Don't think that was never the way, to quote the Mandalorian, and it's particularly not the way now, okay? You are very able to present a seminar or a session online to a camera, put it on a YouTube channel, create triangulation around it, Sophia, and meet new people. The nature of disintermediation is that you can meet the best scholars in the world on Twitter, on LinkedIn, in environments like this, Sophia. And I beg of you, don't give up. And I think your statement, and Elaine would back you up on this, you know, it costs so much money to keep your foot in. I think that's That's terrifying. But just be aware, Sophia, that keeping your foot in, there are now all these alternative pathways to do that. So, for example, you talked about the databases. Use the Directory of Open Access Journals, www.doaj.org, freely available, wonderful, tremendous. That's what I read. I don't really bother, to be frank with you, with Springer and the paywall and Elsevier and Routledge and all the rest of it. Zero bothers. I think that's dirty money, and so I'm not going to validate that. The colleagues who are doing clean, decent, ethical, platinum open access work, that's who I'm supporting. So, but I agree with you, Sophia. And the only line I'd say to you is, we all have to apply for everything. We have to apply for everything, but all sorts of options are available for remote work as well, to build a living rather than make a living. Now, I know it's not helping, Sophia, but can you send me an email around this system, and you and I firstly will talk more personally about what we can do to help you, and also I'll start looking for stuff for you. All right, I'll be like your research assistant, and I'll find stuff.
Tara, you I'm not one of yours, though. You have no obligation.
Zero bothers. You're a human, you're breathing, and you're fabulous. Darling, don't worry about it. That's the whole point. That's the whole vibe. And we'll go straight to Maeve and then to Wendy, who I'm obsessed by the shirt. Wendy also has something to say on this. So let's do it. Go, Maeve.
Well, two things. One is Julie has a question which is in the chat, and Julie can re-say it again for herself. But it's in the chat, because I invited people in the chat to put their questions in there so that we also had another run of questions going.
Oh, great.
And my question relates to last week, and
I'm sorry, I was just waving to Kylie, Maeve. So first time I've seen Kylie properly in this gig. Love you, Kylie. You know it. Sister from another mister. Love the Burgundy rock and roll girlfriend. Happy Goth Day week. Sorry, go, Maeve.
Hi, Kylie. Yes, I was trying to look at what, as if we were in the same room. I was trying to look at what you were waving to. So I thought for a question for today, the same roughly content matter as we did on the podcast last week, where we look at some of those ideas, like even this space right here, which goes to YouTube tomorrow. And every week goes to YouTube the next day. I just thought it would be relevant to look at the idea of media as a safe space, this media in particular, and to look at those ideas of personal and professional. I thought that would be good for the group.
Look, I think so. I think that's a great point too, Maeve. And we'll go through that question and then anything else that colleagues would like to do. And I'll go straight to Wendy in a second too. But Maeve, it's a great point about the public and the private, and how we manage that. But also, can I say, the honesty, as Elaine says so brilliantly, we've lived so much of academic life behind these veils of secrecy and nostalgia of the past and how great it's going to be in the future. And most of us just sort of live in disappointment and despair. And Eunice has sort of sat with this thesis and the tragedy of this thesis for so long without being able to express that. And people then learn from Eunice's experience. So it's about working out, all of us as a family, which is the personal and professional bits of our lives that we are comfortable to share with other human beings to gain support and nurturing and community and help other people. And there's no doubt these conversations have helped thousands of people. But again, as you've said, Maeve, being very, very aware of that, beautifully said. Should we go to Wendy? So Wendy, where are you on this?
And remember, Julie.
And then Julie. So let's go Wendy, Julie. There are so many fantastic women in my life. I can't breathe. Fantastic. Go, Wendy.
So I'm an older PhD candidate. Woohoo. I've come to academia from nursing. So I'm a registered nurse, hospital trained with basically no academic background, got upgraded from a master's to a PhD. So I've come to doing a PhD from a world that is so non-academic, it's ridiculous. And now I'm here getting close to completing my PhD, and suddenly it's like, what the hell do I do with it when I'm finished? Because I don't want to work in nursing, but I'm looking at academia and thinking, geez, this is not necessarily the best place in the world to be going to for a career change either.
Look, and so Wendy, I'll talk about the end bit of the question here, but to quote the legendary Jamie Oliver, here are two I prepared earlier, Wendy. Eunice and Kate, batter up, talk to Wendy. Hi, Eunice. Good morning, my queen.
Hi. Wendy, honestly, Kate and I are exactly the same as you. We both came from nursing background, trained in the hospital system, gradually over the years, you know, did other things, and built our own businesses doing a completely different thing, but still nursing related. And I've worked in academia, all casual, all contract, never ever been offered tenure, and never would, because my focus has always been the students and how much I love teaching, and that's a big no-no with the university. They're not interested in that. They're really interested in you bringing in research dollars. But I'm not going to change what I love, and that is the students. But I don't have a contract at the moment, simply because I told them I need a break to finish the PhD, which is now finished. What happens after this? To me, it was never a progression of career. It was purely to try and help the thousands of other families that have gone through what we've gone through with our son. That was my focus. It was never about furthering a career by any means.
But Eunice, can I say, we're now working on your book, which, in terms of going back to Elaine's conversation when we started, that's then another income stream for you. So it does all the political things you want it to do, but then there's also an income stream as well.
Yeah, fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah.
So Wendy, you and Eunice might get together forever, and then Kate's straight in. You've got to demute Kate, glamorous creature.
Can I just say, yes, none of it would have happened without Jamie and Tara.
And look,
it would never have come to fruition, ever.
You're wrong, and I love you, but can I say that very handsome man that we're seeing at the base of the picture, my goodness me, that's a nice top. You must have a great wife that buys you interesting clothing. Professor Quinton has joined us before he gets on the plane. Thank you, Jamie, darling. Kate, you're up. Talk to us.
Oh, hi, Wendy. I'm a very old, mid-70s, hospital-trained paediatric and registered nurse from the UK, travelled around Australia. I'm a 10-pound POM, worked in many of our big hospitals, and in Sydney, once I was told I was seen as a whistleblower, and my clinical career went downhill from there. That's a long story for another book. But what I did, and I did the same as Eunice, we enrolled in the Master of Health Law at Sydney University. That's where we met in 2008. Never did I think that that would broaden my career so much, and I'm very happy to talk to you about it. There's only a couple of us in the country, as far as we know, who have years of hospital-based nursing and Master of Health Law degrees. And what we do now, and what we've done for many years, is write reports for the courts. We're both self-employed doing that. It pays very, very well. But what I do every time I get a case of negligence, a personal injury, medical malpractice, whatever, I can picture myself at the bedside of the patient. Now, if you haven't done hospital training, you won't know. You can't see all that. So I write, every report is 20, 30 pages. I just love it. We have a wonderful relationship with law firms all over the country, and that's what I'm continuing to do. But the other thing I've just started that you might be interested in, I want to become an editor of, hopefully master's thesis, academic papers. So I'm doing a course with Capstone Editing, which is Australia-wide, because I love writing and I love reading. It's a very difficult course. I thought I'd sail into it and, use all my English grammar knowledge. Nah, it's way more than that. It's taking me weeks and weeks and weeks to complete, but they do guarantee work, very well paid, when you finish. And so the first theses that you will be editing for them, or proofreading or doing substantive editing, whatever the client wants, you will do the report, and then the bosses at Capstone will check everything before it goes back to the student. So it's just another, I'm also a property investor. I've got a few properties around Australia, and that's another another form of income.
So Kate, even though you look 21, would you be prepared to share with the group your age, Kate?
I'm 75.
Right. So Sophia and Wendy, there's something there, I think, for all of us. And you know, Kate raised wonderful kids, wonderful grandkids.
I've got 7 grandchildren, and they absolutely, oh, the endorphins, the love, the passion, what it does for me is indescribable until you become a nana.
So, and sadly, I've left it too late. My eggs are too old now, Kate. I'm close to death. But can I say, Sophia and Wendy, and obviously get in touch with Kate, get in touch with Eunice, Wendy, and Sophia. There's some fantastic options there. Again, it's not about making a living. This is about building a living. Wendy, is that helping? Oh, I get a nod.
Can I put my email address in the chat box?
You certainly can, because you're probably the most famous person on this call, Kate. So please do that and get in touch with Kate, because she's inspirational and often truly frightening. Now, Julie wants to have a chat with us about so many things. Julie, can you demute and say hi to us all?
Hi, and it really is a privilege to be with you, and I'm really pleased I found your session, because I was actually, my daughter's doing a master's in Israel in African sustainable communities, and she's been asked to transfer to the thesis track, and I was looking for something to help her write up a master's proposal, because I'm sure there's a difference between a PhD and that. And so I came across this, so thank you very much.
Fantastic. So we did do, I think we did one of our outriders on the research proposal, but tell her not to be stressed. People have this notion of this is what a proposal is.
Yeah.
It's really not. There's certain things we're looking for, but mainly it's meta ability, Julie. So we're looking for writing skills. We're looking for information literacy. Can a person write a good research question? And that's about it.
Yes, and I think that, but you know, she's 28, and so, you know, we have life experience and she does. Anyway, so that's how I came across you. So my question really is, cautiously, if you've been in a PhD for a while and the time has passed and you're now sort of in limbo, can you move to a new university, and do you start again? Do you pick up? What happens? What is the protocol?
So Julie, sadly, once more, I have to say, like Jamie Oliver, here's one I prepared earlier. So look, what you can do, I'll sort of do the meta stuff on policy, is I'll put the Dean hat on for a second, and then go to Eunice, who did exactly what you're talking about. So this is increasingly common, Julie, and so students are at a particular place doing a thesis and stuff goes wrong. It might go wrong empirically, it may go wrong theoretically, it may go wrong in your public or personal life. Someone might die, someone might get sick, you might have breast cancer. We've had all those things that have happened to colleagues. Now, and then stuff goes wrong. And of course, in these days, going back to our conversation with Elaine, supervisors are unbelievably unstable, right? We may be unstable more generally, but the point is that we've all seen colleagues that basically are told they're not in work tomorrow. Now, those colleagues may have 5, 6, 7 or 10 PhD students. And when redundancies take place, rarely do we think about the PhD students. That's my job. So the thing is, Julie, a lot does go wrong. And I call this, following on from association football, the transfer market. Now, nobody talks about the transfer market, but the transfer market is very, very big. And what happens is, particularly if we've got a great group of supervisors that know how to get a student home. So here is a thesis, and they have the expertise to be able to take the methodology, take the data sets that may have some challenges with them, and know, Julie, and this is a gift, can I say, know how to render that thesis complete for examination. So Julie, if you're going to do the transfer market, that's great, but don't, you know that old cliche, go from a frying pan into the fire? Really do your homework, interview your prospective transfer, what's often called a rescue supervisor, and make sure they know how to get you home. So Jamie Oliver time, here's one I prepared earlier. Eunice, explain what that looks like for Julie.
Well, what it looked like for me, Julie, was, I mean, the first thing I say is do not give up, honestly. It will happen if you find the right people to guide you. And as I've said a million times, even though she discounts it, without Tara and Jamie, none of this would have happened. We'd been in touch for many, many years, just, you know, chatting, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. But I came to her quite desperately in the end, just not sure if it was ever going to happen. It took me 14 years, and what I thought was 7 supervisors, I'd actually forgotten one. There was 8 supervisors, 2 different universities. I eventually got there, but it was only because they knew how to make it happen. So as she's saying, you don't cut yourself off from the one you're with until things are in place, because there's a lot of things that need to go on behind the scenes to bring it across smoothly. And what happened when I transferred across after all those years, within 6 months, this PhD was completely rewritten. It's unrecognizable from the initial one. I feel like I've written 2 PhDs. I've had supervisors who were totally unsuitable. I was so unprepared. I was very naive when I started. I had no idea what I was doing, no idea that I could suggest that, well, what you're telling me to do is actually not what I wanted to do in the first place. Realizing I was fulfilling their interests, not my own. I've had supervisors who, like Tara said, are gone in a minute. I had one supervisor who was frog marched off the campus, apparently, and he turned out to be the best one, and I'd only had him for 6 months, and I don't know what happened, but he was gone. And every time a supervisor finishes, you then have a lag. Each time there was a lag of a good 6 months to a year before they found another one. But usually that poor person, no matter how good they were, was so overwhelmed because, I mean, I know myself from my teaching, the stress and the load is just increased and increased and increased at university with no further hours or backup or leeway. So make sure you find the right people who are going to understand your thesis and what you're trying to do. I mean, there's Tara and Jamie, totally away from nursing children with disabilities, which is what I was doing, and yet they were able to see what needed to be done to bring it to fruition.
Yeah, and beautifully said. And Julie, as you've worked out, the key is to not, it's not like being a woman with husbands. It's not, I promise you, but it's like don't cut off the previous supervisors till you know what you're going to. It's like having a boyfriend when you're 17. It's like, stay with the boyfriend until you find something better.
But politically, will another university take you?
Yeah. Yeah. If you've got a good supervisor, they will. And look, I will just quickly, I see beautiful Elaine and Nadika, and we'll go straight to them. But Jamie, don't know if Jamie's just left us because he's getting on a plane. Are you getting on a plane? Did he just go? That's a shame. Thank you, Kylie. That's a shame, because I was going to go to him because scientists have never seen this transfer market. They've never seen volatility like this, Kylie. They're used to, often they have an honours student or a capstone student in the North American system, and they go right through a PhD. But now the system is so cut up and disruptive that even in the sciences, people are moving during the PhD. So the greatest skill, and I'm trying to train a next generation of supervisors for this, Julie, is in what's called rescue supervision. It's a completely different style of supervision, and it's very, very difficult. But there are methodologies to deploy. So Julie, absolutely, university will take you, but keep everything nice and safe, and don't jump ship. Don't do a dummy spit. Don't do a jump ship until you've talked to a prospective new rescue supervisor. They're cool with the movement. And then, as we did with Eunice, we did the conscious uncoupling with great care.
I think that's really important too. I mean, I'm still in touch and friends with the very first supervisor I had, who had his own interests, and I didn't realise that. I was too immature in the academic world to understand that. But we'd worked together for about 30 years in paediatric surgery. So it seemed like the perfect fit, but that's not always the case. But we're still friends, still colleagues. That's, you know, I haven't burnt bridges along the way, which I'm very fortunate about.
And that's important. Life's too short.
Yeah, but I mean, thanks to the way you handled it, Tara, it was all done very professionally and, you know, yeah, done with great respect to everyone involved.
Yes. You haven't met my father, Eunice, but we're a classy people, not big Kev's a bit of a legend, and he's wandering around like this. But so I've obviously picked up class from my mother. So thank you so much for noting that, Eunice. I feel so much better. And colleagues, it looks like we've got our sort of final 3 questions of the day. Hasn't this been exciting? We've got our final 3 questions of the day, and then I'll give everybody a break because some colleagues are coming back for Rat Club. So Queen Nadika, who is the light of my life, I am so happy to see you again, beautiful one. Congratulations on all your success. And what would you like to talk about, Nadika?
I just wanted to add something about the Julie's. I just comment with my experience. Want to say not to give up the PhD with any circumstances, because I faced a lot of circumstances in Australia, Flinders. I'm from Sri Lanka, currently in Sri Lanka, and after the COVID, I just finished within a few minutes. After the COVID, in Sri Lanka, there is an economic crisis. Even we couldn't get any single dollar from Sri Lanka because I am paid student. So lot of hassle. So I had to go there intermission around 1 year. But my supervisor helped within that time. Tara, thank you very much. You was, even without the university, you leave university, but your postcard blog helped me a lot. Thank you. As a dean of graduate research, you helped me a lot that time, even prior to that. So I had to change 2 supervisors, which I started my degree, then did work. My mother passed away.
Yes, sweetheart.
I couldn't participate her funeral, even due to lockdown. 1 week before submission, my elder sister died. Lot of things, but I submitted my thesis.
Yes.
Before 3 months or 2 months, my principal supervisor lost her job at Flinders. So actually, that is the time of the vacation.
Yes.
Year in. So my second supervisor greatly helped throughout the process. I want to say that. But since that vacation time, she also got her vacation. My final draft did not read anyone.
Wow.
Even my principal supervisor said she will read, but
Never
surrounding things, she was down when she lost her job. Finally, she said, I don't have time to read. You can send it to the editor. I got results after 3 months, B and C. So I'm happy even that. That's the thing I want to say.
And you have said it so beautifully, Nadika. We're all just, I mean, I'm looking at Sophia's face. Between the pair of us, we're sort of sobbing slightly. Now, Nadika, what you need to know is you've experienced so many losses through that PhD, but you are a triumphant human, and you have done it for the members of your family that never got the opportunity to do a PhD, and they are cheering you on, Nadika.
Yeah.
They are cheering you on. And when you got that degree, they got it with you, my darling. They did.
Yeah.
And I think we can all feel that. We can all feel those people that are with you, Nadika, and we are with you, and we are so proud of you. And you are the embodiment of grit and determination, my love.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You are very precious, and you have enhanced my life. Having met you, you enhance my life, Nadika. You are amazing. You superstar. And look, we will finish with the athletic and magnificent Susan, who started our digital office hours walking to make us all feel the shame of sitting. And so she's now still looking active. So Susan, where would you like to finish us off for digital office hours this week?
Right. I was wondering, but I'm not walking anymore. Yeah. I'm wondering which part of my journey, but the last thing I was being talked about, I'm inspired by several people on this session, by the way. And I see that this last young lady, they're very resilient, and Kate in her 70s. Wow. I have some aspirations for multiple streams of income, but well, I'm not in the 70s yet, but she's somebody for me to aspire to be like, like that's definitely, I'm very definitely taking note. But let me see. So I'm in kind of like a strange place. COVID affected my university such that they stopped a whole number of things. They stopped promotions, they stopped a number of benefits.
Yes.
And since the good thing is, as of today, I didn't check it yet. I should have gotten an increase in my pay as of today. So something I applied for 2 3/4 years ago. So, and effectively they didn't go back, they didn't make it back for 3 years back. So I made an application, and they said, oh, well, we've been broke, so it's as of March, and then they're not going to pay till May. Anyway, but I'm still thankful for small mercies. But the context I've been in is I've spent basically over 2.5 years very vexed, because I thought, why did I apply to this place that didn't have a job opening? Because I've been at the same job for 24 years. And I realized I'm at a place where, because of ageism and how life is, where am I going to easily get a job unless X, Y, and Z happens? But both have now happened. So 3 things come to mind during this conversation. 1, I'm supervising both undergraduate and master's students. Like just today, I was just on a call with a master's student who is a taught master's and they have to do a thesis, and that's challenging because I'm still not such a great supervisor. So maybe in another session we could talk a little bit about that, but maybe that's not for this kind of sessions. I'm learning how to be a good supervisor. And secondly, especially of the master's students, right now, can you believe this program only gives a student a 1 credit course and expects them to do like this brilliant thesis and defend it? It's crazy, like defend it verbally. It's just, it's like an impossible task. And then I'm meeting with a student who knows almost nothing. And I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be supervising, not teaching, but I have to be doing more teaching than supervising. I know you're kind of following me.
I do.
Anyway, but moving on. So there's that challenge. And then, and even just tonight too, I just got this night in Jamaica. I just got a call from the graduate program director. Oh, could I give a talk on methods? I said, I prefer literature review because I'm strong in literature review. So the context here is I am at a job. I just got a promotion. Forget about the title. It's more I don't have a PhD. You know, I've heard you out loud said in the meetings, people should never be in academia without a PhD. So I don't have a PhD, but it is what it is. I had the intention to do a PhD if I knew what I wanted to do it in. I've only known what I want to do it in maybe about 5 years.
Yes.
And I have some challenges in my life, which I won't mention in this setting, that I said, well, I'd only do it if this and that and the other, which included one of the benefits of my job is that they would give study leave to people, and I qualify for more than 15 years, a long time.
Yeah.
But then because of COVID, they weren't giving anybody.
Yeah.
So now I'm at a juncture where I need to decide, because it can't be for money. It's only for two primary reasons. One, for self-actualization, and two, because there's research I really want to do that I actually think I could do the research if I don't have the PhD, but perhaps if I have good supervision, the supervisors will help me improve the quality of my research. I don't know if you understand it. I'm not trying to big up myself, but I've been doing my best.
Yes,
without even having a PhD.
So, Susan, you are the best, and I want to be you. You know that. Just a couple of things. So sorry, Susan.
Yeah. Last thing is, I'm just so impressed with not just your blogs, Tara, with your ability to keep studying. I have 3 masters and a double. I have a double bachelor's, but I don't come close to you. I only have 3 masters. And I have a double major and I have a diploma in research ethics. That's it. I only have a few. Like you have about double me. I'm like, wait. And then you keep doing extra. I want to be like you when I grow up.
Nah, it's only because I got no life, Susan. I got no life, Dale. I got no life, so don't worry about that. Just 2 quick things to say, colleagues. The first, and we love Susan. We love Susan forever. Firstly, you've hit something crucial. All that nonsense post-COVID about the new normal. This is a sad, sick institution, higher education and education more generally. And actually, it wasn't caused by COVID. It was already sick, and COVID simply manifested the symptoms. So we're just in a bad way, and we've just got to build a living out of, we've got to be like a phoenix. I think phoenix is my spirit animal, and we've just got to think of the phoenix every day, and from the ashes we must continue to rise. And the second thing, Susan, for you is we're going to get you a thesis, and I tell you how we're going to get you a thesis. And I want you and Kate to talk, because you need to do a PhD by prior publication. So what I want you...
Oh, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, well,
that's actually what I want to do.
There it is. In the next 2 years, what I want you to do is I want you to write 6 to 8 articles that are all clustered in a particular area and talk to each other and start to develop an original contribution to knowledge. Make them cluster.
Oh, that's my plan.
There it
is. You think just like me? Wonderful.
So do that. So get those 6 to 8 articles for me. Be the first author or the only author. Thanks for playing. Then enroll for 3 to 6 months in a PhD by prior publication. Write the contextual statement that confirms the original contribution to knowledge. And Susan, my gorgeous one, you are then golden.
Well, you've confirmed, because you and Professor Stockler think the same thing. But yeah, because really, I really want to. See, if I have a PhD, I'm going to have more ability to get research funds. I will have more ability to you can get funds into university. And I've been at a seminar for 24 years. And while I've been there, it's a polytechnic, but really more like a community college. It's a polytechnic that what to say is not one, but it's a complicated thing. And the thing about it, in the time we've been there, they've gone from, they didn't care whether they had a PhD or not. No, it's like, oh, if you don't have a PhD, they look down on you. So guys, it's not in universities across the world. It's not, even though I have a job for the rest of my life, it doesn't pay that much, and it's not easy.
Well said.
It's really not easy, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying the opportunities are only great if you take them on. Like I've taken on curriculum, I've taken on ethics, because I'm like, I hate part of my job. I'm like, okay, how can I do it better? You actually, even in academia, if you want academia to be good for you, you have to take initiative. You have to, Tara, am I not saying the truth?
You are telling the truth. And as I say, Susan, I'm always worried when people say in the good old days. The good old days were rubbish. Trust me.
I love your thing about making a living. That's such a great statement.
You've got to do that. But Susan, the lovely thing about us having this moment, and I will always remember this moment, is the PhD by prior publication was configured for our colleagues in the United Kingdom who were in the polytechnic system as they were moving to new universities. So that's why this mode was formed. So how magnificent that we're now able to activate this in Jamaica. There's some sort of lovely post-colonial justice there, I think.
Definitely. I love this.
Fantastic. And look, colleagues, I know a lot of you will be joining us in about 9 minutes for Right Club, but I thank you so much for this morning. Wonderful, Megan. It's just so fantastic to see your glamour once more with hoodie, so in full Jedi Master gear. So, Megan, thank you for joining us. Colleagues, I'll see a lot of you in 9 minutes for Right Club. Let's do some damage. And once more, Eunice and Kate. How many people just want to be Eunice and Kate? I want to be Eunice and Kate. I want to be both of them. I want to come back as either or both of them. And I want to be 77 with 3 different businesses that I run. I think that's probably the hashtag.
That is awesome. Awesome.
Diversity is absolutely the key. You can't rely on, and look across all industries and professions. It's not just academia. It's the same everywhere. People used to do one job. They had a job. They stayed in it forever, and that was it. Now, even in nursing, we trained in one specific area and we don't stay in that area. I never thought I would merge from operating theatre to paediatrics to all these other things and to academia. And I've been in academia for 20 years, but it's all been casual contract. But I've only just got my PhD.
Yeah. Oh, it's powerful. So, colleagues, you've already given me a list of things we'll sort of focus on in future weeks. Dissemination looks like a big one. Elaine's point will continue in terms of open access. Let's do that, Elaine, next week. And also then the income streams. Maybe we play with that next week. But colleagues, come and wonderment will occur. Blessings to you, and see you on the other side. Those of us that are joining us for Right Club, you are the best. You are light to me on a Friday morning. Have a great week. See you next week. Nadika, you are a blessing to us. All my love, sweetness. All my love.